In a distant galaxy, Captain Mark Daniels, an experienced astronaut from Earth, found himself on a routine mission exploring the outer reaches of space. His ship, the Endeavour, was equipped with the latest technology, yet nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. Suddenly, out of the void, an alien ship appeared, its sleek, dark design shimmering against the backdrop of stars. Before Mark could react, his ship was ensnared by a powerful tractor beam and pulled aboard the alien vessel. The ship belonged to the Draconians, a feared race known for their technological prowess and ruthless tactics. Mark was brought before Commander Varkan, the leader of the Draconian ship. Varkan, towering and menacing, looked down at Mark with disdain. A human. How quaint, Varkan sneered. The Draconians laughed, mocking the human they saw as weak and insignificant. Despite his fear, Mark stood tall. "What do you want with me?" he demanded, his voice steady. Varkan chuckled. "Humans are known for their resourcefulness. We captured you to study your technology and see if your species poses any threat to us." Mark realized he was not just a prisoner. He was a specimen for them to dissect and analyze. Determined to survive, he began to observe his captors closely, noting their behaviors and the workings of their ship. He knew that to escape, he would need to use his wits and knowledge. The Draconians underestimated Mark, thinking him merely a fragile human. They often left him alone, assuming he could not cause any trouble. Mark used this to his advantage, memorizing the layout of the ship and understanding their technology. Days turned into weeks, and Mark bided his time, waiting for the perfect moment to act. He had to find a way to escape and return to Earth, but more importantly, he wanted to show the Draconians that humans were not to be underestimated. As the days passed, Mark continued to study the Draconians and their ship. He noticed patterns in their routines and weaknesses in their security systems. The more he learned, the more confident he became that he could find a way to escape. One day, while in his cell, Mark overheard two Draconian guards talking about a maintenance check in the engine room. This was his chance. He had noticed that the engine room had fewer guards and more access points. If he could get there, he might be able to find a way to disable the ship's systems temporarily. Mark began to form a plan. He needed to create a distraction that would draw the guards away from the engine room. He started gathering materials he could find in his cell and during his limited time outside it. Small pieces of metal, wires, and other bits of technology he could use to create a makeshift device. After days of careful preparation, Mark was ready. He rigged a small explosion in a remote part of the ship, far from the engine room. As the explosion went off, alarms blared, and the Draconians rushed to the scene. Mark used the chaos to slip away, heading towards the engine room. Once inside, he quickly located the main control panel. Using his knowledge of engineering and what he had learned about Draconian technology, he began to work on disabling the ship's main systems. His hands moved swiftly, bypassing security protocols and rerouting power. Just as he was about to finish, the door burst open, and Commander Varkan stood there, eyes blazing with anger. "You think you can outsmart us, human?" he roared. Mark didn't hesitate. It's not about outsmarting, it's about surviving. With one final move, he completed his task, and the ship's systems shut down. Lights flickered, and the ship was plunged into darkness. With the ship's systems down, the Draconians were thrown into disarray. Mark knew he had only a small window of time to make his escape. He darted through the dark corridors, using his memorized knowledge of the ship's layout to navigate his way to the hangar bay. As he ran, he encountered a few Draconian guards, but in the confusion and darkness, he managed to evade them. His heart pounded in his chest, but his determination to survive and return to Earth kept him moving forward. Reaching the hangar bay, Mark found a small shuttle. He quickly boarded it and began the startup sequence. The shuttle systems came to life, and Mark felt a surge of hope. He knew how to fly this craft. His extensive training back on Earth had prepared him for situations just like this. As the shuttle lifted off the hangar bay floor, the Draconians finally realized what was happening. Alarms blared once again, and the hangar bay doors began to close. Mark pushed the shuttle to its limits, squeezing through the narrowing gap just in time. Out in the vastness of space, Mark set a course for Earth. He activated the shuttle's stealth mode, hoping to avoid any Draconian pursuit. As he flew, he couldn't help but think about how close he had come to being a permanent prisoner. The Draconians had underestimated him, but he had proven that humans were not to be taken lightly. The journey back to Earth was long and arduous. Mark had to rely on his navigation skills and the shuttle's limited resources to make it home. Along the way, he thought about the Draconians and what he had learned about their culture and technology. Despite their advanced systems, they had a glaring weakness: their arrogance. As he neared Earth, Mark sent a distress signal, hoping someone would pick it up. To his relief, a response came quickly. An Earth Defense Force ship intercepted his shuttle and guided him safely back to the planet. When he landed, Mark was greeted by a team of scientists and military personnel. They were eager to hear his story and learn about the Draconians. Mark shared everything he knew, hoping his experience would help Earth prepare for any future encounters with the alien race. His family was overjoyed to see him safe and sound. They had feared the worst, but now held him tight, grateful for his return. Mark's story quickly spread, becoming a symbol of human resilience and intelligence. The tale of how a human outsmarted a powerful alien race inspired many and reminded everyone of the strength of the human spirit. In the weeks that followed, Mark's debriefing continued as Earth prepared for potential threats from the Draconians. Mark was hailed as a hero, but he remained humble, emphasizing that it was human determination and ingenuity that had seen him through. Earth's leaders reached out to the Draconians with a message of peace, hoping to avoid future conflicts. The Draconians, now aware of humanity's potential, responded with cautious respect. They agreed to a truce, recognizing that underestimating humans could be a costly mistake. Mark returned to his normal life, but he was forever changed by his experience. He continued to work with scientists and engineers, sharing his knowledge to help improve Earth's defenses and technologies. His adventure had shown him that even in the face of overwhelming odds, human spirit and intelligence could prevail. The story of Captain Mark Daniels, the human who outsmarted the Draconians, became a legend. It was told and retold, inspiring future generations to be brave, resourceful, and never underestimate their own potential. The bond between Earth and the Draconians grew stronger over time, built on mutual respect and understanding. And so Mark's journey ended not just with his return, but with the beginning of a new era of cooperation and peace. The stars no longer seemed so distant, and humanity stood ready to face whatever challenges the universe had in store, united and strong.